Hey man, 420, salute, salute. What's good, brother? What's really hard? How y'all doing today? Salute, salute. The sun on a Monday night. You know what I mean? Hey man, 420. What's going on? Salute, salute. Know everybody miss me, man. I miss y'all, man. What's going on, babe? See everybody coming in now. Everybody tuning in. Yeah, Blaze Big, salute to you. What's going on, bro? James Joker was popping. KC the Gully, what it be like, bro? You already know, man. It's hard, you already know. Salute, man. You know what I mean? Peace, beloved. DJ Precise, the Ghost, salute. Tony Smith, yo, what's going on, big? Jack, aka Noble One, you blood. I'm looking at the pretty big on. That's right, salute. You already know, man. Static Sinatra, salute. Card Scarlet, what's good, what's good? Chris Nelson, what's going on, beloved? Free Dream Brim, yo, salute, beloved, what's going on? Eden Water 183rd, you already know. Corey Pito, what's going on? Salute. Blaze Big, same here, staying positive, working harder, you already know. Salute, man. Wait till a few more people tune in, man, till I get into it, know what I mean? But how everybody doing, though, on this Monday? Starting out work, coming off from a nice little weekend, you know what I mean? Know you had to recuperate, watch, you know what I'm saying? Whatever happened to Power, man, I thought Power was coming on yesterday, man. I didn't even get to see Power. That's right, let's get these likes up. Felita Cortez in the building. Mike Woody, what up? Luis Cortez, what's going on? Show, salute, brother, yeah. Smash that like button, you already know. Yeah, but anyway, man, thank you for tuning in for Kross TV Network, Norris Kross with a K. As always, I first like to salute my whole YouTube family for tuning in. Those that always been supporting me and keep supporting me. You know what I mean? I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. You know, we built this here together. We're gonna continue to grow. You know what I mean? And stay positive and stay on our page, man, as we look forward to the future. You know what I mean? Nevertheless, those that's just coming in for the first time, and I appreciate y'all tuning in also. You know, this right here, this live what I'm gonna discuss right here, dealing with the Bloodettes, this is real right here. Everything I'm saying out of my mouth is real. You know what I'm saying, is out of love, you know what I mean? And they play a major part in our lives and in role in our lives, just like females in general, you know what I mean? So it was it's a must that because everybody us men we sit there and we discuss our lives and talk about everything we did, and we talk about our wives a little bit, but a lot of us ain't gonna expose our wives or expose the female in our lives or whatever. But outside of that, you also have a lot of females that played a real significant role in our lives. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people that have been incarcerated before, or go through life struggles in life. Majority of us, would agree to say that if there was one person you could always depend on, you could always depend on your parents. You could always depend on your moms. You know what I'm saying? Real moms, and people that grew up and raised by their moms, regardless of whatever mistakes they made or whatever imperfection we feel that they might not have, with all due respect. Because a lot of kids, grow up trying to, they base their parenting skills on what they wish that their parents could have did for them, as growing up, or whatever have you. So when we get locked, when a lot of us that come to prison, us gangsters, the homies, whatever, people when you commit crimes, whether it's taking another life, or just doing anything to get put in prison. It's one thing that you're going through it physically, emotionally, and spiritually, because you're in there dealing with what you're dealing with, and you're stressing on the outside. But we leave our loved ones behind, and our loved ones is the ones that's going to struggle and go through this bed with us. You know what I mean? It ain't going to be your homie or people from the hood and stuff like that. You might have, it's an exception to every rule. You might have one or two, a sprinkle of people, that's fortunate to have real friends and real homies that they encountered in life. But for the most part, our females has always been there for us. Yeah, I'm talking about your mother. I'm talking about your girlfriend. But aside from that, I'm talking about Bloodettes, right? I'm gonna name a few of them, like TT, Ladybug, Kill Quick, Liz, Passion. The ones that was coming to see me and coming to see first generation homies when all that stuff was going on in Rikers Island, when the wars was breaking out and everything or so forth. You know what I mean? You had these sisters that was coming to see us. You had these sisters that had families, was going to college. Some was out there hustling. Some had kids, some didn't. Some was young, some was older. Or whatever have you. But for somehow, because I didn't know these females when I was home. We met while I was in prison. We kind of like linked and found each other, you know what I'm saying, or what have you. And that's go for all the homies that was on Rikers Island at the time. All of them was coming to see us with their babies, without their babies, making all the sacrifices they had to make. And it's crazy because I look back being, not being in prison no more, but being in prison so long, is that when I came out here, I told everybody like, yo, I know how it is. I'm gonna make sure I write you. I'm gonna make sure I do this, that, and the other. I'm gonna make sure I'm there for you. You know what I'm saying? You know how that go. And when you get home, it's like when you taste freedom, it's like you start to realize, you know what I'm saying, how much detached you want to be from that environment as possible. And life is spinning so fast. It's like sometimes 24 hours is just not enough in a day for you to want to do everything that you're trying to accomplish, you know what I'm saying, and at the same time trying to rest, if that's even possible sometimes. So I could be the first one. I'd be like, damn, I stress and know how much a letter is and what a letter can do for a person, and visits and so forth. I'm so lettered out and so prison out that, I don't ever want to see there again. I don't ever, but however, I did go to see my brother a couple of times since he been back in prison. I went and visit him on several occasions, you know what I'm saying? But outside of that, I say all that to say this. You got these sisters, these Bloodettes, right? That's coming to these prisons. That's coming to see homies, making sure they good, putting money in their accounts, making sure they got phones, you know what I'm saying? Make sure if somebody do something to their children, or somebody, they did something, or whatever, to the the homie wife, or what have you. They could be depended on to go make sure, that's handled on a female level, despite from coming to see us. You have some of us that dealt with them, on a romantic level, not everybody, you know what I'm saying? Because you had some big homies that's, we frown from ever trying to, use a woman or use a for her body or try to manipulate her, and so forth. That's the righteous way, or the ones that, the first generation, how it began. But as we know, a lot of people, once they seen the power, and a lot of people had their own agendas. So, you have people that abused them or did wrong or misguided them and caused them to, run to other people, and, and they went through a lot of things that they went through. You understand what I'm saying? Forget to do things and reach out. I barely get the 4 hours sleep. So, yeah, that's right. Salute for going to your boss visit. You know what I mean? So it's like, they taking time out from their everyday life, from being mothers, being daughters, being sisters, and having a whole just plain life out they self, or a whole relationship with a dude or whatever have you, to come see us, make sure we was good by any means necessary. You know what I'm saying? They was willing to make certain sacrifices. A lot of them was getting locked up. A lot of them got bad end of the deals. People used their house and got their house, taken from them. Their kids took them from them and everything like that. You know what I mean? And I always thought about them. Some of them that went through that, I ain't never get to speak to them again, because once you go through that, it's like, man, fuck everybody, fuck all of them. You know what I mean? But for the most part, it's like, you have people in life that you can trust in life. You know what I mean? Because you could walk in the room and genuinely just attract, or just somebody just stick out and make you want to talk to them, or just the energy between somebody, and so everybody wasn't with that. I wasn't one of the ones that's with that, and none of them could tell you that I was with that. And I'm in contact, or have been in contact, with all the names that I have mentioned to y'all about, the Bloodettes that I mentioned. I'm just naming them, but it's a few, is a lot more, but those them right there was very significant in my life, and in a lot of people's lives, that, not all of them, I'm just summing a lot of people. I'm not saying that all of them was there at the same time. You had some of them that was, some of them wasn't. You know what I mean? The ones that wasn't was the ones that pretty much that at once upon a time I might have been romantically linked to, or it didn't work out. But that's just how it was. You got to remember, I'm 18, 19, they young, and it's just crazy how at that age they was kicking down the doors and coming to see us, and and things of that nature. And it's like, they're doing things for us that I couldn't ask, or wouldn't ask my sister, or did ask my sister, that my sister wouldn't have done. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe but one of my female cousins, you know what I'm saying, that would have did what I'd asked them to do if it had to be. You understand what I'm saying? And coming from them, that shit, like, people like, of that stature, not just them, but I'm talking about people of that stature, that was just a given on a meeting, like, yo, I'm such and such. Like, what I'm saying? They just pop up and just be like, yo, I'm such and such, and you know what I mean, believing in it, you know what I mean? And it was real. But the crazy thing about it is, what make them so unique, and I always like, is because females always have it crazy rough. And what I mean by that is that, especially if they're good looking, or they have a nice body and everything, it could be this person's girl, but let something happen, or they leave off the visit, their whoever their visitor was, cousin or who have you, would try to pass her a number, or try to talk to her, or guards would try to talk to her, going home, facing all different type of temptation. We're not there, getting locked up, losing kid. It's like, They just played they played the major role, man, and they're not really being talked about a lot. And I just wanted to shed just a little light on them because I'm not really glorifying, what happened, at the process. But at the end of the day, we had to survive. You know what I'm saying? And if it wasn't for them, it would have been real rough for us, man. It would have been way more rough for us, man. Bro, salute to them, man. Bro, salute to them. Coco Bean, facts. Yeah, man, like, a lot of people, I'm telling you, man, they went through a lot. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we could think about, and I'm not trying to be a sexist or nothing like that. That's not what it's about. But you could think a lot about all the atrocities women had to deal with on an aspect of, on just, male behavior, for lack of a better term. Y'all know what I'm saying though. How they've been victimized physically and, and stuff like that. But they stood up. They stood up, man. They stood up for us, man. If it wasn't, like I said, you see what Harriet Tubman, came back and, held the people down. You know what I'm saying? They held us down. They made them same sacrifices walking in and out them doors. You know what I mean? Taking us out of reality. You know how important that is for a person to come outside of their cell or come outside of their physical, and mental reality for a minute to be by a loved one or, what I'm saying, or somebody that you're getting to know or get to love. Because a person that's in prison and a person opens the doors for you to call, to write, and they come visit you. You build a relationship with them. That relationship has to be real because the simple fact is, if it wasn't, they wouldn't be coming to see you. You understand what I'm saying? If it wasn't, they had to come to see you. So it has to be real. Now, then again, you have some people that was, you have some of them that was doing things for power issues and power struggles and everything. Like I said, but I'm not really here to really bash. I'm really here to just acknowledge them because just like how a man could contribute or pay a tribute to their wives, and people that held them down, females that held them down. That's the same thing when it comes to a lot of with a lot of people from this life. You know what I mean? Yeah, much love, much Coco Being. You already know. Takes time and effort. Felicia Cortez, that's right. But so they get violated by either getting jumped in or sexed in, but think you're honoring them. But to think you honoring them. Well, I mean, that's just the same thing as men. Men was jumped in and everything like that. It was honorable to make you jump in, but I never brought a blood at home. I never did none of that. You know what I mean? I was in jail. I never did none of that. So, I'm honoring what they went through, for what they believed in and the things that they did and the sacrifices they made. You only looking at what can possibly be because everybody didn't get jumped in a sex thing. You know what I mean? That kept me going. Tony Smith, no doubt. Yo, Mel, much love. Dominicans fuck with you, bro. No doubt, you know how to fuck with the Dominicans, man, hard. You know that? Wow. Takes time and effort. I'm feeling that Jack Force. Yo, I appreciate that, John Mac. Word. Salute to you, man. I appreciate that, man. But anybody for all races, anybody whether from all walks of life, that ever felt you ever needed somebody in life, you know what I'm saying? Yo, Killer Kev, yo, salute, big homie. I love you, bro. Salute and respect, bro. How you doing, brother? I like it. I like the things that you've been doing on your page. one day or something like that, man, where you go live together and all that. You heard, bro? Yeah. You know what I mean? So, you know, Kev know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? He probably know Liz and Kill Quick and all them. You know what I'm saying? All the double breads, I'm saying Ladybug and all them. If he don't know them, I know he heard of them. You know what I mean? Official motherfucking females that get busy. And a lot of homies, to be real with you, a lot of homies, if the females, if the girl act up, and a lot of homies felt like if they was creeping and doing certain things, they're sending them to go check things too, like to make sure everything was all right. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? On some G shit. Keeping it real, man. My man, I'm in contact with Paul. I could get in contact with her. I've been in contact with her, but I don't, you know, talk to her regularly. But I can get in contact with her. Word, you know what I mean? They was putting that twerk in too, man. Believe that. See, because a lot of people, when you think of just putting in work, people just think of on a physical, mental, man. You know what I'm saying? 95, but that is here, man. Bro, a lot of niggas don't understand the epic that's taking place behind the wall, from the face banging to Mel for the report, always the authentic blue intelligence over vision. That's a fact, yo. Rondo Leon, yo, I appreciate that, beloved, man. You know what I mean? Definitely appreciate that, brother. Bro, man. Cheat to some signs, but he want to cheat some signs. Yo, Mel, you should start a non-profit organization and really do it right. Need the help, reach out a little bit. Yeah, I'm on that wave. I've been, you know, I have went to a couple of places and was talking to them, and they said, "Yo, I'm gonna get back to you," and you know, and they never got back to me. I'm definitely gonna have to do it on my own. It's just that I got a whole lot going on in my life right now that I gotta be settled. Because as y'all see, y'all don't even really be seeing me in my house like that no more. You know what I mean? Because I be out here, you know, doing what you know, I gotta pay the bills. You know what I'm saying? So I'm out here, you know what I'm saying, working, doing what I have to do. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. So I was there for the weekend, but I was just, you know, taking care of house chores and whatever. You know, I was just relaxing or enjoying life, you know what I mean? I know why the blood talking about the ultra coming on. Yeah, man, you know, a lot of y'all, man, you know, you ever be in a predicament where you feel you could depend on somebody, man, that person, man, that's gonna be bonded you for life. But you know what's funny, you know what's on the sad end of the stick is this, right? You got an individual like me who, while I was in a can, these people that came to, you know, these sisters that came to see me, kicked down the door, gave me anything I ever asked for, what I wanted, you know what I'm saying, or whatever have you, you know, and just, you know, showing me that genuine love just out of love. Cause they ain't owe me nothing. They ain't even know me before, before, you know, I was even in this predicament. And you build a bond, you build a genuine bond, and you build a love with these females, right? Now you come home. Time has elapsed when you see these females, right? You in a whole relationship, you married, and then, you know, you try to tell, you know, your wife, like, yo, listen, yo, blah, 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 blah. And then your wife now doesn't really want to hear all that. You know, forget all that. They feel like, well, you know, you don't owe them nothing. And what's this about? What was y'all doing, you know, prior to and everything? Where, when all reality, on the other hand, is like, damn, man, when I didn't have you, this is what held me down. You know what I'm saying? Whether it was for the whole bid or whatever or not, it doesn't matter. It's the fact that they didn't owe me nothing. Everything they did out of love. And they held me down for a whole lot. So What I just supposed to just say, fuck them or not talk to them or deal with them no more, just to appease you, and then that's saying like, well, that's telling them is like, well, if you was in a situation and they needed me, I just turn my back on them because you're not even trying to talk to me. So imagine if I was in a situation. I'm saying not that I owe them anything, but at the end of the day, in a sense, I do owe them. I can at least, come, you know what I mean? But so it's a lot of things that they had to face on a whole grand scale, on a whole grand scale, and at the same time, still cook, still keep the house clean, still make sure the kids go to school, still write you, still pay the bills, still come to see you, and I'm out here, and for me to sit down and write a letter after all them times, all them long letters I wrote, man. I sit down, man. I write a 1 or 2 page, if that. If not, you know what? Call me, man. Word. But to be out here from being in there for so long and knowing how important them letters is, and knowing how hard it is for me to sit there and focus on that, right? Because mentally I'm trying to take that out, try to take it out, even though I know I can't. You know what I'm saying? I'm still adapted to out here, but it's real, man. It's real. They got a whole story to tell, man. They come from all different backgrounds that we could think of and imagine, man. You see movies all different times from females and from all different lives and all different type of movies you can think of. Yeah, you had your own hood at one time, right? Yeah, still do. Henry Force 25, salute, beloved. Coco B. I stop writing letters. I tell my people, call me. Coco B, yeah, that's right, man. Sometimes it's like, I'd rather just call because, it's just be time consuming sometimes, man. Be a lot of things going on. And, that's one thing about me from being in prison for so long, man. I always like to be on my time. If I feel like I'm on somebody else's time, it automatically like brings me to like I feel like I have no control. Like it goes back into that feeling of me being locked up and stuff like that. So sometimes that don't be sitting right with me. So you know what I mean. I be keep dropping Mel Kross, keep dropping them jewels on them champs. Shout out to Killer Cab 100. Definitely gotta say to you. And coaching 7-8 graduate basketball, keeping them off the streets. Yo, DJ Shook Grind, salute to you. Appreciate that. And also keep doing what you doing. The basketball things, what's up? You know what I mean? Wow, man. Scar doing good. Scar, all right. Scar Brim, all right. He doing good. He definitely healthy and all that. You know what I mean? Yeah, he definitely healthy. Well, man, like my ex, that was one of OG Mac co-defendants. I said her name earlier, TT, you know what I'm saying? She was one of OG Mac co-defendants. That was my girl at the time she had got arrested. I was locked up. Of course, I was locked up. I was in Comstock 2001 when they got locked up. Ladybug, she from around my way. She from 183rd. She from around my way. Salute to her. You know what I mean? Then you got Liz and Kill Quick, Passion, all them. They from Brooklyn, and we have one chick from Queensbridge. at the time, this was like 98, 98, 99 in Queensbridge named Lady Kross. That was my girl at the time. She was the first brunette over there in Queensbridge projects. You know what I mean? Right now, she in a whole different situation. She in the feds on a whole charge with her whole situation and what have you. First one, do you know my brother, Grung? You said Grung blood? That's what that is? Gabe Rodriguez was good. Yo, bro, I got the record. They were jumping in. I'm a host on the beat. The country, the shit we hit every city. Every leaking. A lot of growth and development on this thing. Yeah, yo, Rolando Leon, yo, salute, man. Yo, hit me on my IG or something, bro. You heard? How Lacey doing? Yo, Lacey doing good, man. He alright, man. You know, he doing good, B. Passing EHB, that's the hat girl. Yeah. With asking for money about earlier. Oh yeah. That's right. Hit them, yeah, definitely hit them likes. Hit them likes. Hit them subscribes, man. You know, definitely I'm gonna talk to a couple of them sisters, man, see if they want to come out and tell a story. Pardon my delays, man. You know, I really have. Only if y'all knew, once everything is over and then they're done with, man, I sit down and I tell you a lot of things that had me kind of distracted the last couple of weeks. You know what I mean? Or the last week, should I say? Yo, my joint is Mel _ Kross with a K _ 183rd. Looking for the truth 100. Yo, people saying, bro, your skin thick, bro. Just sitting there talking about scheme and everything, all that. That's my joint line. These dudes quick. Oh, well, that's my joint line. King, definitely gonna show you that. Love the positivity, bro. Sean Brown. But no doubt, salute, man. Always, man. You know, I don't want to really take about enough of your time. I know everybody going to sleep and everything. I be just picking the ill time through my lives and everything like that, man. I miss y'all. Hope y'all missed them. But that's the thing, miss me also, but definitely salute to y'all. Once again, them sisters, I know they probably listen to the tape or heard or will hear of the tape or, might be looking on it and seeing me on the tape, whatever. Just let them know, man, it's really a salute. It's just like real hard, man. Never feel left out or feel left in less than, when you see each other yet. Just ask for your patience, once we already talked, so you already know, what's stopping me from really right now from Lincoln, my will situation. So which should be fixed by next week. So we'll definitely vibe. Definitely love y'all. Definitely appreciate y'all. And thank you for everything y'all always did for us. Y'all family for life. You know what I'm saying? I know we all love y'all. Yo, Mel, this dude does the stalker shit on every channel, bro. People haven't heard from you in a while, bro. How all well, God bless. With Derek McMillan, you definitely, man. Yeah, definitely, man. Salute. Appreciate that, man. Good night, Mel. Good night, chat. Yo, definitely, Henry 4625. Yo, salute. Good night, brother. That's a fact, Gabe. Yo, Coco B. Oh, how many of you over the heads and did a check with your anal? Start muscling y'all, some of y'all over here, man. Yeah, that's right, Shatter. Time these motherfuckers out, man. Time these dudes off. What's up, Shatter? What's good, bro? Looking for the truth, not even people's too. I see you on every channel on the members nuts. Who's looking for the truth? What are you talking about? Oh, you talking about people 212. Yeah, man. What's up, though, man? Everybody had a good Monday. Getting ready for tomorrow. Starting to get tired, man. I'm good. Everything healthy, man. You know, man. Soon, my little dilemma be over with. And I could just move on and get focused again. You know what I mean? So what he said? Thanks, no. He needs to be blocked. Everyone's channel. Thanks, no. Yes. Of course, great evening. Salute. I mean, and live, yo, salute, man. Appreciate you, man. Salute, man. My Monday was crazy. Sick of self stuff. Oh, man, yo, man. God bless, man. I hope everything get better for you. Mel people's too as a stalker. Yeah, pay no mind, I mean. Pay that dude no mind. Man, Smith L, respect, beloved. Yeah, no doubt, G. Cole. Salute, man. Definitely, man. Definitely wish you health, man. Always think about that, man. Don't never turn your back on them. Don't ever turn your back on them, and you know, forget what they ever did for you. Just forget whatever people did for you. You never know when you ever need them again, man. It is not only just because of that purpose, which is real selfish, but it's for a fact that you show how much you appreciate them and appreciate what it did. It ain't about owing them, and you know what I'm saying, whatever. But at the same time, you know what I'm saying, they do got to be acknowledged and represented on way higher level with just any average individual. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause they went through struggle with me. That's that bond for life. You know what I mean? Yeah, you already know Queen Southford was good. But of course, every G needs a strong, loyal woman. But yeah, man, a lot of people fail to realize, man, a woman is the backbone, man. They are the backbone. They are the foundation, man. Heard about the heard trigger. Yeah, no doubt, trigger good money. Of course, are you okay? Or you just chilling? I'm just taking it easy right now, man. You know what I mean? Easy to blaze it, homie. We appreciate you. I didn't miss what he said. Appreciate you for paving the way, homie. So easy to blaze it, man. I appreciate that, man. Thank you for the salute, man. Definitely appreciate that. That mean a lot for me, man. Gabe Rodriguez, salute to the village person on the YouTube stuff. Yo, Gabe Rodriguez, I appreciate that. That's from the heart. You already know that. I appreciate that, man. I already know that, man. It's just real, man. I just feel like, you know, it's just different levels. It's just different levels of understanding, man. You know what I mean? It's just different levels, man. And I'm just thankful that out of all that time I spent in prison for me to be home or while I was there that I didn't lose my mind. I didn't snap. You know what I mean? I didn't break. I didn't break. No matter how hard it got, no matter how much the years dragged in and dragged out, how many months dragged in, dragged out. You know what I mean? I can still read, I can comprehend, I'm functional, you know what I'm saying? So that's a blessing, man. I done seen prison just destroy people, so I'm definitely thankful for that. But no matter how distant I want to be from that and say, forget all that. If I can't forget about, how Damu began, if I'm saying how this began and how that began, well, I gotta also talk about the key or the most important persons that had a lot to do with us being successful. You know what I'm saying? Brooklyn Food Porn 718. Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely, man. Salute to all of y'all for that, man. Brooklyn Brooklyn Food Porn 718. That's a fact. I'll never forget that. If I'm in a situation where, like, let's say, because where I want to be in life, man. Whew. But anyway, I get there, regardless, if I'm in a situation where, I know my sisters really need something, they got it, man, I definitely hoffer, man. Oh, that's the least I could do, you know what I'm saying? Besides, definitely hoffering at y'all in person one day, you know what I mean? One of these days. Oh, man. Real like that. Yeah, you had not for nothing. You had to, you just had, because like I said, I was just meeting them. I was just meeting them on the phone. People, plugging me into them, and or they just hearing about me, randomly getting my information, and just coming to see me. That's how it was. A great woman will make life better, man. They'll meet you halfway. Um, Wherever you strong at, you know what I mean. She'll hold everything else down. Wherever she's strong at, you know what I'm saying, you'll hold her weak parts down. You know what I'm saying? Together everything, being split is much, much, much easier. But your ideal women or your ideal significant other is somebody that you're compatible with, somebody that you can grow with, you know, one that compliments you or one that, you can build and stay on this drive with, building that understanding. I mean, that's what it's basically about. My grandfather said, "Oh, Scheme was a real dude." You're talking about Scheme. You remember the homie Juke, white homie, that's double. That think who was. Yeah, I know Juke. Yeah, I know Juke. That's a fact. Juke, my boy. That's my boy right there. You heard? Hey, Jail, stop talking about Scheme. No one care about that dude. Yeah, dudes probably just feel the need to say something about him. You know what I mean? I always, some people just always feel I defend them for whatever purpose, whatever reason. Yeah, Juke, my boy, man. Yo, tell Juke I send mine. You know what I mean? Tell him I send my love, man. But Yeah, this dude here yeah, there you go. Bump him out. Well, that's how we do that. Anyway, listen, it's getting late. You know, I gotta wake up in the morning, get this job on, you know. Love y'all, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Thank you for showing me that love. Thank you for showing me that support. My YouTube family. Definitely appreciate y'all. You already won.